Better to be held than holding on, Part 2, a Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction series written, voiced, and thumbnail drawn by me, EB Artix. Shout out to my beta, the Adrien Master PhD Minute on Archive of Our Own, for fixing up my grammar mistakes. And please enjoy Better to be held than holding on, Part 2. On days like this, quiet Sunday mornings were hard. Adrien had nothing to do as he picked at his bland fruit salad, the seeds adding to the tastelessness. Such was the life of a model, he supposed. His only breakfast table company had been brief exchanges with Natalie before she and her father left for Tokyo at 8 o'clock. Of course, as soon as Adrien returned from New York Fashion Week, his father had been quick to leave again, off to another destination to avoid him. Typical. So, being alone and bored, Adrien scrolled through his Instagram feed. Even though he had 700 followers on his private accounts, he only really interacted with a handful of friends on there. Most of his followers were models he would hang out with occasionally after shoots, or out of obligation. Sometimes it was fun, like when they went ice skating. Other times, well, let's just say clubbing wasn't Adrien's thing, especially not with people he felt indifferent to, or mildly disliked. One friend Adrien enjoyed keeping up with was Marinette Chang, his former classmate. He had considered them friends back then, sure, and they only had proper, full conversations a handful of times, but that didn't matter. Marinette had always been awesome, and she was even more impressive now. Over the years, she not only honed her fashion talents, but also, in his opinion, mastered bridal wear. He knew this because he kept up with all the new designs she posted on her story. Today, it seemed, she had created a new pastel pink A-line dress. Adrien grinned and liked the story, just now noticing that Marinette had also uploaded a new profile picture, wearing a red off-the-shoulder shirt with her hair down. Pretty. Really pretty. Adrien liked Marinette as a friend for a lot of reasons, and he'd always known she was pretty, but maybe he never quite realized it like this before. He had seen plenty of objectively beautiful women, but the only one he truly found beautiful was Ladybug, because he loved her, obviously. Speaking of superheroes, it had been a while since Cat Noir went out on patrol, especially since Adrien had been away for Fashion Week. Maybe he should do a Sunday patrol? There was no harm in that. After all, with his father and Natalie gone, he had nothing else to do. He had freedom, and this was what freedom felt like, at least as long as his father wasn't around. It hurt, though, 21 years old and still controlled by his father. He didn't want to think about that. He needed his father to let go of him, to stop holding on. So, naturally, Cat Noir found himself perched on a rooftop near the Chang bakery. As usual, except this time, it wasn't in the ungodly hours of the morning like he'd usually visit. It was 10 o'clock. Would Marinette even be home at this time? Or awake? He wasn't sure, but curiosity got the better of him. He used his baton to launch himself onto her windowsill, intending to peek in before realizing just how weird and creepy that was. But it was too late. Marinette had already spotted him. Still in her pajamas, her hair a mess, she stood up from her desk and opened the window. "Cat, what are you doing here?" Still pretty. Cat Noir's brain did a quick restart. Patrol? Marinette looked slightly panicked. "There's a patrol today? On a Sunday?" No, I'm just bored." Bored? It sounded almost like an accusation. "Yeah?" Marinette took in a deep breath. "Well, have you eaten?" Kind of." She raised an eyebrow. "What does that mean?" "I had some apples and sunflower seeds." She sighed, her forehead creased. "Come in and have some breakfast with me. How about ham and cheese croissants?" "Croissants, yes, but no ham for me, if that's okay." "Sure, why no ham?" she asked. Cat shrugged. "Family history of bowel cancer." "Okay." She stepped aside to let him in. "Do you have a personal dietitian or something?" Something like that. Because I'm a model, duh, is what he wanted to say but didn't. Marinette raised her eyebrow again. I'm surprised a dietitian would let you have croissants. What my dietitian doesn't know won't hurt him. Kat grinned. I'm a dietitian's worst enemy, so don't tell him about me either. They laughed, and Marinette let him in as they headed down to the kitchen. It always amazed Adrien how open she was with Kat. She had no reason to tolerate him, let alone hang out, play Mega Strike 3 together, or put up with his late night tears. Yet, here she was, taking in the stray cat, making sure he didn't sleep in the rain, and welcoming him into her home to share breakfast. Come in, you cat, Marinette had told him. Stop sleeping on rooftops every other night. Ladybug wouldn't be happy with you. I know, he responded, but it's nicer outside than in my room. I like to feel the breeze, watch the stars. They're good company. Yeah, and you're going to get sick from the cold or hurt yourself laying on bricks. I've also seen you petting rats. What are you, from Of Mice and Men or something? There must be other places you can go, Marinette said. Like where? Kat scoffed. He didn't mean to sound rude, but somewhere in the conversation, he crossed his arms and didn't remember when. I don't know, to any of your civilian friends, or heck, just call Ladybug, she'll figure something out. My friends are busy, and I'm not going to add stress to Ladybug. Then just stay with me, that fixes the problem. Cat Noir knew Marinette was right. He shouldn't be wandering around Paris late at night, even with superpowers. He'd attract unwanted attention. But the night air, no matter how cold, felt freeing compared to the stuffiness of the manor. Though, as Cat Noir began visiting the Dupang Changs more frequently since the end of Lancet, he started to realise what home truly felt like. Home was laughing with the Dupang Changs, punning with Tom, having Sabine teach him how to do laundry, or baking cookies with Marinette. Home smelt like sugar, cinnamon, and vanilla. There was nothing more freeing and beautiful than that. Marinette worked quickly, cutting into the day-old croissants and stuffing them with cheese, adding ham only to hers before placing them in the sandwich press. While they toasted, Cat Noir went to the cupboard to grab plates and orange juice from the fridge. He searched the dishwasher for Marinette's glass, knowing she'd want some. Where's your glass? Is it on your desk? Yeah, I think so. Just use another one, she replied, so he grabbed another glass from the cupboard just as the sandwich press beeped. As he nibbled on his croissant while perched on the bar stool, Cat Noir noticed Marinette intently focused on her phone. Who are you messaging? He asked mid-bite, a habit his father would have scolded him for. A friend, she replied, her eyes still glued to the screen. Oh? A friend? He pressed, curiosity piqued. His name is Luca. We're going out on Friday, she said, barely looking up. Cat Noir nearly choked on his croissant. Oh? Like a date? Yeah? Marinette replied, finally looking up at him. Huh. Cat Noir didn't know how to feel about that. Luca? He didn't think Luca was Marinette's type. What does he look like? Marinette stared at him, puzzled. Don't you know him? He's the son of Jagged Stone. Oh, yeah, I think I remember. Of course, Adrien remembered him, but Cat wouldn't, right? Or maybe he would. Luca was an Akuma victim a few times. Whoops. Show me a picture anyway. Marinette swiped to one of Luca's Instagram posts, holding the phone up to him. Here. Luca had clearly matured since their college days. Adrien didn't follow him on Instagram. Not for any particular reason, he liked Luca well enough, but they hadn't been close back then, so he never asked for his handle. In the photo, Luca's signature blue hair was long, styled in a trendy half-up, half-down look. His fashion choices echoed their teenage years, but now he sported a lip piercing and tattoos down his arms. He looked confident. Definitely a glow-up. So, you're into blue-haired men, I see? Cat attempted a tease with a playful grin. No, not usually. I don't think I have a type, but Alia insists I have a thing for blondes. I have no idea why, she replied, finishing the last piece of her croissant. Yeah, you've never mentioned liking blonde guys before. Then again, she hadn't talked about liking any guys. It just wasn't a topic that came up between them. I mean, I've definitely liked a guy with blonde hair before, but... Marinette hesitated. I haven't dated anyone. That surprised him. Didn't half their class have a crush on her in college? Really? You've never dated? Why not? Marinette stood up and moved to the sink to start washing up. I don't know, long-standing crushes holding me back. Cat Noir followed her, shooing her away from the sink. I get that. One word, Ladybug. So, if I date Luca, maybe I'll get over it? She suggested. Alarm bells rang in his head. That's exactly what Adrien had done with Kagami a year ago. She asked him out at a gala in London, and he'd said yes because she was cool. They tried long distance for 6 months after he returned to Paris, but she ended up breaking up with him, feeling like he wasn't invested in the relationship as much as she was. And she was right. Cat Noir cleared his throat as he soaked their plates in soapy water. Well, do you like him, Marinette? I mean, I'm not sure yet, she replied, looking away. It's wrong to go on a date with him when I like someone else, isn't it? Well, it depends. Are you looking for a rebound relationship or are you hiring the understudy? It was a harsh question, but he felt it was necessary. He wished someone had told him that before he broke Kagami's heart. Marinette groaned, resting her head on the kitchen counter. I wish I could just date the guy I like, or at least have him reject me outright to stop this wishful thinking. That was one thing Cat Noir was grateful for. Ladybug didn't lead him on or create any what-ifs. She had rejected him right away, no games involved. He would have to have a word with whoever was doing this to Marinette. Cat Noir dried the rest of the dishes. So why can't you do that? Ask him out. Well, his Instagram is full of pictures with pretty girls. One of them has to be dating him by now. Who wouldn't want to date him? She replied, grabbing the dried dishes and putting them away in the cupboards. Show me. What? His Instagram. I'll tell you if he is or isn't dating someone. How would you know? Marinette asked, skeptical. I'm a guy, Marinette. I can suss it out. Really? She deadpanned. This whole time I thought you were just an alley cat. With a sigh, she pulled out her phone and handed it to him. Don't you dare make fun of me. Never, he promised, taking the phone from her grasp. He wasn't sure who he was expecting, but nothing could have prepared him for the sight of his own account staring back at him. Adrien Agreste? This guy? Yep. Is the guy you have a crush on? Yep, she confirmed, a hint of blush creeping onto her cheeks as she looked away. Cat Noir was taken aback, his eyes widening in surprise. Since when? I told you, kitty. Long-standing crush? She replied, her eyes darting around the room, looking everywhere but at him. Probably since the first day I met him in college. His mind struggled to process this revelation, so it short-circuited. Ask him out. What? Ask Adrien Agreste out. Now. No way, not happening, she exclaimed, shaking her head vigorously. The panic in her eyes made it clear just how unthinkable she found the idea, and Cat couldn't help but feel frustrated. He'll say yes. I'll say yes. Marinette scoffed, crossing her arms. How would you know that? A hunch? He offered, trying to sound nonchalant. Ladybug would kill him if he slipped up and revealed his identity right now. Well, if he asked you out, would you say yes? Yeah, of course I would, she replied, her tone almost offended, as if the very thought of doubt was absurd. Then great, he'll ask you out tonight, Cat said, a spark of giddiness igniting in his chest. He started mapping out all the flower shops nearby where he could pop in to buy flowers. Roses. Yes, roses would suit her perfectly. He could leave in an hour, de-transform, and then ask her out as Adrien at her doorstep. What could go wrong? Marinette raised an eyebrow. Tonight? What do you mean, Cat? As much as Adrien loved Ladybug, hearing Marinette unknowingly confess felt like a revelation. A key turning a lock within his heart. He definitely liked Marinette, but differently to how he liked Ladybug. This feeling was deeper, more tangible, and it filled him with an indescribable warmth. He would never make the same mistake with Marinette as he did Kagami. He simply didn't have that kind of connection with her. This was a new kind of feeling, one that muted any sounds of Ladybug from his heart. Marinette was special. He loved Marinette. Cat Noir wanted to cry at the realization. It took everything in him to hold back tears, so he drew on his model-ready masking abilities, forcing a light-hearted smile. Wanna play Mega Strike 3? Don't change the subject, Marinette protested. Okay, this wasn't working. Cat Noir quickly shifted tactics. How about we watch Spy X Family? No way, I haven't finished reading the manga yet, she replied, crossing her arms again defiantly. She had started reading it after he enthusiastically mentioned the anime, but she insisted on the whole read the book before watching the movie thing. So he bought her all 12 volumes, much to her dismay when she figured out the cost of them. You've read enough to watch the first season. Come on, princess. Don't you want to experience the thrill of the double life? Marinette paused, narrowing her eyes suspiciously at him. Did you just make a Despicable Me 4 reference? He struggled to defend himself. What? Double Life is a banger, and it fits both. He grinned as he thought about how perfectly it also suited this show. Huh, that was a weird thought. Anywho, now Cat Noir recognized his feelings for her, he started to feel guilt. She'd find out his identity eventually, wouldn't she? The thought of the betrayal she might feel twisted in his guts. And if Adrien started dating Marinette, their dynamic would undoubtedly shift. That was fine, Adrien would be patient. But couldn't they just move forward from where they were now instead of stepping backward? Okay, fine, she finally agreed, turning to hunt for the remote to the TV. Cat Noir took in a deep breath, reassuring himself that he'd figure it all out. He had time. Well, until her date with Luca on Friday, but that was okay. Just relax. So Cat Noir did just that, sinking into the afternoon as they binged Spy X Family on the living room couch. Laughter filled the air as the episodes rolled by. At some point, exhaustion overtook him, and they both drifted off to sleep. When he woke, warmth enveloped him with the smell of sweet perfume, and he found Marinette's arms wrapped around him, pulling him snugly against his chest. For a moment, he let himself bask in the comfort, pushing aside the worries of what Ladybug would think if he revealed to someone. This was perfect. She was perfect. In that moment, everything he ever wanted and craved came together and blossomed into reality and more. He would give up anything to be by her side like this, in her warmth. That's right. Adrien Agreste would give up anything, even his identity, just to be held by Marinette Dupang Chang. Thank you so much for listening. I really need to take a sip of water. Whoa, my throat is so dry right now. I hope you guys enjoyed part 2 from Adrien's perspective. I don't think I'm going to do a part 3, to be honest. I think I'll just leave it here. So instead, chapter 3 of Set to Love will be out at 9 AM Eastern Standard Time on Friday. Yes, that's right. 9 AM Eastern Standard Time, Friday. Yes. So please look forward to that. If you haven't subscribed already, please do that. Otherwise, you might not get recommended this channel again. And then that's going to be sad. So subscribe. And I'll see you all next time. Bye. Oh, no, wait. Link to my beta, Minu, in the description box. I forgot to say that at the start and at the end. So yeah, link in the description to my beta. Thank you so much for helping me do grammar. I suck at grammar. Thank you. Bye.